Hi, I'm Sylvia Worsham. Welcome to Focus Fridays and welcome to the segment of Pattern Interrupted. Our social distancing has now been 20 days in my household. 20 days of staying home and sheltering in place and really not spending too much time outdoors. So things can get very tricky, can't they? I've got two kids, a 5-year-old and a 14-year-old, and they are going stir crazy indoors. Despite the multitude of toys and electronics and stay-at-home materials that the schools have sent, it's still not enough for these kids. They're just so used to being out and about, as well as their parents, by the way. Their parents are also feeling like it's a hostage situation instead of a staycation, which most people have been commenting on. There are about 7 patterns out there that can be interrupted and were interrupted when this pandemic hit. For a lot of people, there were a lot of stressed achievers out there. Can you relate? You were achieving, and you were looking outside of yourself for that happiness and fulfillment, and those are our stressed achievers. It's all about significance. It's all about careers and the achievements, and that's why they're called stressed achievers. You also have the victim mentalities that are roaming around. You see those patterns everywhere on social media. They're trying to blame others for the situation at hand. They're trying to blame other countries or our leaders, and so victims are everywhere. The pandemic is interrupting those patterns as well. You also have the rutdwellers. Those people are going to not want to do anything. They're going to get easily overwhelmed and stressed out. And when you have a lot of people whose patterns are showing up right now, so this social distancing came at a very opportune time to interrupt those patterns and to quiet the mind and to realize that fulfillment comes from within. Happiness and fulfillment come from within, and that's idea number 1. When the mind is completely and totally quieted down in those moments where you're going to sleep perhaps, or early in the morning before everybody gets up, and you have a moment to yourself, your mind is totally quiet. What are you thinking of? How are we going to find solutions to this pandemic? And we all have genius and untapped potential inside of all of us. But we must first interrupt those patterns that are just not serving us anymore. So this pandemic came at such an opportune time. Like I said, there's 7 patterns of behavior. I've only mentioned 3 or 4 of them. But the one that came and interrupted for me was the success seeker. I was looking for success everywhere. I went from one program to the other, and as a coach, simply can't have that. My mind now is completely quieted down, and I've heard the whispers from God basically say, write your book. Now is the time to write your book. What are you doing during this quiet time in your life, during this season of harvest, if you will? Are you planting those seeds so when we are able to get out, you will have some harvest? So think of those things as you're going through the social distancing, as you're sheltering in place, as we're trying to flatten this curve. We now have heard from the governor of the state of Texas, we will be sheltering in place till at least May the 4th. So we have another month of this. What are you going to do with that extra time? How are you going to use it to the best of your abilities, to the most joyful of your abilities? Now is the time to harvest. Now is the time to plant those seeds so that the harvest will grow during this time. So what can we do to do that? Well, honestly, we could quiet our minds. We can start using meditation during this time. Meditation is an amazing tool to kind of calm the anxiety down and to keep our stress down, because that's imperative during this time so your immunity stays up. So meditation is a big one. What's the second strategy we can use? We can use our time efficiently. My suggestion is this: break up your projects throughout your day. If you feel like you're not getting anywhere, where you're falling into the rutdweller pattern where you just want to go and escape into the TV and not do anything and kind of like throw your hands up in the air because your stress is getting so high, do a pattern interrupt. What is that? A pattern interrupt, it could be anything for you. For some people, it's simply having a thought that says, hey, snap out of it. You know, you've got more important things to do. TV's not going to help you. Get to it. Get your stuff done. For others, it's something physical and something that gets them, gets their conscious awareness on alert that this is an automatic response from the unconscious mind. These patterns are unconscious. This is on automatic. So one way to wake it up too is to say your affirmations, which happened to me the other day. I started to get very stressed and very anxious about this time. It's been almost 20 days. And the thought of not seeing my parents again really got to me. So what did I do? I did my affirmations. Hey, I'm an amazing person. I'm capable. This is just a silly thought. You know that humanity is very capable of finding a solution to this. This too shall pass. All of these are positive affirmations. That could be a pattern interrupt that you can also incorporate. And lastly, one that I heard from someone this week, one of my coaching clients, who also stress level started to get really high. She's a realtor in South Texas. And she said, Sylvia, when I remembered a lot of your techniques and I started to thank God for everything that I had. I started to think about all the things I was so grateful for. So having gratitude really shifted her mindset over and kept her on task and kept that pattern in its place. Release those patterns, guys. Use this time to release those patterns, interrupt those patterns. The time is now. And you've got this. I'm so proud of you. You guys are amazing. Have a wonderful week and take care now. Stay safe. See you later.